Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, good morning. This morning I woke up with a migraine. So usually it gives me some visual disturbance, so I can't see things properly. I've already taken some medication, so I'm expecting that this should fade off slowly. Maybe in a few, probably 30 minutes or so, I think I should be fine. But right now, I'm not able to see anything clearly. Now, having said that, whatever I can see here on CNBC is looking pretty good. All the indices are looking healthy this morning. I think they're all due for a bounce back, basically because we have headlines which scream out how much the market has lost. For example, you see this here, tech's 3-week sell-off led by Tesla wipes out 2.7 trillion from mega caps. And there are a lot of puts in place. So overall, given that it's a Friday and we have touched some key resistance and support levels, I'm thinking that a small bounce back is possible. And that's what seems to be indicated by all these pre-market rallies that we are seeing out here. And also we have to look at the fact that we have had a decent correction. Let's go to the futures and start from there. Now I'm going to attempt to read the screen as best as possible given my current condition. I am going to draw this line out here, take it to the bottom that it was here. So we had lost around 13.82% on the NASDAQ futures, which is a good correction. It's gone just beyond correction. So I think if you look at the long-term trend line that comes in from a very long time back, somewhere around, let me pull this out further. I would say it's coming to us from 19th of October. So if we take that as a legit trend line, then I would say we would get a support here. But a typical trend line needs multiple touch points, you would say. So let us see if we can get multiple touch points out here. So this is the best I can come up with at this point of time. So I don't think it's a valid trend line, but I'm thinking that that is the only explanation I could have if we have a bounce back from here, because we have got at least two touch points here, and this is the candle for the 14th, which is for today. So that's also above this. So I've just put a placeholder out here. Please don't hold me to this, but I'm thinking that we have this area of resistance. So we're going to bounce back up, and most probably we're going to come back down again. Because even though technically it seems like we could rebound from here having had a correction, I'm saying that because in the past you have had corrections out here which have been, they went all the way down here, I would say 17, but if you see actually they had gone all the way up to 13%. So somewhere between the 10 to 13% range we have bounced back in the past and gone about our merry way. If you look at this one here, this was just 7%. So let me go a little further and look at another correction. Let us say if we take the compound out here, it was still 9%. So I think this is a decent enough sell-off from a technical perspective for it to bounce back. But if you look at the overall situation in the market and also the underlying fundamentals as a result of the overall situation, whether the overall situation be the geopolitical works, or it be the policy paralysis with on and off tariffs and DOGE knocking off a lot of federal employees and the resultant potential unemployment and potential recession in front of us, which can impact the earnings. And therefore, even if the PE multiples remain, if the earnings go down, the stock price is going to go down. So given all those things, I'm thinking that any jump is going to be short-lived and we're going to come back down again. So that's my thesis for today. I'm looking at S&P 500 futures, which is up 0.83%. It's also very close to this area of support, and we had drawn a target of 5,513.75 using the reverse head and shoulders pattern. I think we are more or less met that target. So there is no other reason for this to bounce back but the fact that we have met the target, and that we have a huge area of support out here. So that could be conjoined along with the fact that we have fallen so much and there is a lot of puts in the market, and there is a lot of shorting going on. So that could be a relief rally given it's Friday, option expiries and everything is on the cards, and it could be short-lived again. I think it could go and bounce back from 5643. If you look at the dollar index, it's come down again. It's wiped out the gains from yesterday. So more or less neutral action compared to yesterday. So it's not contributing anything or taking away anything. Now, if you look at the 10-year yields, they are inching their way up. As the yields go up, the money finds it much more easier and less risky to get into bonds. And that factor could also play against the markets today. So it's totally a mixed bag that I'm seeing out here. I'm not going to take any action. I'm trying to sell off a little bit of my Apple shorts and a little bit of FNGD to take some profits. Apart from that, I'm not doing anything. If I'm not able to sell those, I'm not going to worry too much. I'm going to wait and watch for things to come down. So that's what I'm thinking out here. Let's look at AI. Just going to look at key levels out here. Let me see. Hi, Hot Dog. Good morning. Hi, Hot Dog. Good morning. I'm having a little bit of a migraine, so I'm not able to see clearly. So I'm going to muddle my way through this. And if you see some mistakes, just let me know. The market seems to be in mood to bounce back a little bit, given that it's Friday and we have been sold off too much. I was thinking that this diagonal line of resistance might have pushed us back down, but that did not happen. So we are in a situation where I think the next line of resistance that you see above is going to apply. So let me just adjust the screen a little bit. I'm trying to readjust my screen so that I can see the chat while I'm still working on the TradingView platform. So I've got it done here. So I was thinking we could either short here or we could short there. So the shorting here option seemed really good when yesterday we dropped down below that on the 13th. But today, this morning, we can see that the index is already up 2.46% in pre-market trades, which means that it is taking us right on top of this diagonal line of resistance. So I'm not still sure that it's time to short NVIDIA. NVIDIA could go up further and it could potentially be challenging this 200-day and the 9-day exponential moving average, and then it may come down or it may go all the way up to the top. So we don't know which one it's going to be. I'm just going to extend this line and leave it here. So no decision on NVIDIA, what it's going to do. Good morning, Inf. Thanks for joining. Then we have Meta. Meta is already bounced off from the top edge of the resistance, and it has come back down, and as you can see, it's a very steep drop. So this morning we have a gain of 1.98, which takes us back closer to this diagonal line of resistance, and ideally we should be somewhere out here at 613.83 on the resistance. We are at 602, so we have around I think let me just see this again. Yeah, we have around $9 or $11 of movement upwards potentially in store for Meta today, after which I think it is going to come back down again. So that said, let's look at Google. So in Google, I made a mistake. I have been short on Google, but there's a long-term trend line that is coming in from way back. I think I would say it's around 27th of October. That seems to be providing some support out here. So I think that there was a good reason for Google to jump up. One of the reason could be the bottom that we reached here, which was very close to the diagonal line out here. And I think we had the reverse head and shoulder out there. So all that was justified. But when we come back to the present times out here, this becomes very important because we are straddling that line in the last 2 days. So I'm thinking that Google could potentially turn around out here only to be sent back down by this resistance out here at 169.10. But in future, we have to contend with this diagonal line of support, which is going to try and hold up Google. And I think this support is going to be strong because from a PE perspective, Google is really undervalued. I hope you had seen my video from yesterday where I was making a comparison between Tesla and Google from the point of view that Tesla's high valuation, high PE of 119 is justified by the fact that it's an AI play and it's a robotics play rather than an EV manufacturer. So I tried to contrast that with Google, which has got Waymo in 5 cities running for so many years already and expanding. And their Gemini, various versions of Gemini, which are already out there, LLMs, and also making money. Also the fact that they have got DeepMind, for which they have a tie-up with a robotics company, and they're going to do physical AI as well. So I think Google is more of a AI and robotics company than Tesla has proven itself to be so far. So I would say that Tesla should be valued more as an EV company. And if they are valued as an EV company, their EV brand is not doing that great. SpaceX and maybe X and all those things might be shiny objects out there, but they don't belong to Tesla and cannot be taken into Tesla valuation. So that was my argument. So from all that perspective, I think Google has reached a stage where it looks very attractive. I have dollar cost averaged. I will probably buy a little more of Google today and add up to my holdings. And that said, I think I'd like to go and have a look at Amazon. In case of Amazon also, there's going to be this dead cat bounce effect. All the Mag 7s are going to go through a dead cat bounce effect, and they're going to hit back on the nearest resistance and then come back down. And probably that will happen next week. And also many people might probably not want to leave money on the table with Trump as the president during the weekend. Because by the time they come back, it will be a different world. So from that perspective also, I think we could see some selling, and that selling can put a downward pressure. So maybe we have a bounce in the morning, and a couple of hours down the line, or maybe around midday, we start selling off and coming back down again. Those possibilities still remain. And that said, I'm looking at Tesla, which is something that I had shorted. I think I'd like to get out of the short position in Tesla. Because they have already bounced back from here, and they're knocking at the doors of this diagonal line of resistance. And if they did come out of this diagonal line of resistance, they may get some support, because we should not underestimate the fan following that Tesla has got. And that fan following could potentially push Tesla out of this entire red zone. And if it did come out of this red zone out here that we see, then I think it would have created a new bull channel. But fundamentally, if I look at the situation that Tesla is in, with the kind of animosity that people across the world have for Elon Musk and Tesla brand, the vandalism, if someone was to buy a new Tesla at this point of time, they have to be really dedicated. And there are a bunch of people who are politically and otherwise dedicated to Tesla, and they may go ahead and prop up the brand, either in the stock market or in the physical market. But overall, I think a whole lot of damage has been done to Tesla. And if the management were to distance themselves from Elon Musk, then there could be a sea change. So all of those possibilities are coming very close to a threshold where one of them might get triggered. And if a lot of fanboys buy Tesla and rescue the stock, then I think the board of directors will be more than happy to stay with Elon. However, if things start going south, the board of directors will be faced with a lot of pressure from shareholders to distance from Elon. And if that happens, then again, the brand can improve. So overall, I think we are in a inflection point. So fundamentally, I think Tesla is not a great company and does not deserve that kind of multiple. So I want it to come down. But being pragmatic, I think there are a lot of people who are going to put their money in Tesla for reasons other than business. So there could be irrational exuberance out there. So I would like to cut my losses and move out of that place. Next, I'm looking at Oracle, which is up 1.35% this morning. Again, it's in a bear channel and it needs to actually break through the bear channel. I'm going to draw the channel out here for you. This is what I think is the channel. Out here, I would draw a line from here to here. So this is my channel within which it is moving. So it has got room for going up, but once it reaches a resistance, which could be either the 200-day exponential moving average, or it could be this diagonal line of resistance that we are seeing here. Either of them can push it down. So that's what I'm thinking when it comes to Tesla. And then let's look at AMD, which is a very beaten down stock, and it has kind of respected this diagonal line of resistance that we had, which I temporarily converted as a support because of the previous day's jump above it. So it's come back down again, but this morning again it's up 1.31%. So I'm thinking that this diagonal red line that I have here is most likely the resistance, and failing which the 9-day exponential average could be the resistance, and it could bounce back down from there, because I think AMD is richly valued. If I'm not mistaken, it's almost twice as much in PE as compared to NVIDIA. And that said, we come to Intel, which is jumped 1.60%. A new CEO can only give so much of a boost. So I'm thinking that sooner rather than later, it's going to come down and go sideways. But it has got a very firm support out here at 18.87. And that said, SMCI is on a bull channel. I think the bull channel is going to hold for SMCI. I think the price multiples for SMCI are also quite low. QCOM is up 1.21%, and we are looking at it coming down further later on when it encounters this diagonal line of resistance. I'm just pulling this across a little bit so that we can draw it up. And for today, the diagonal line of resistance, I think, is somewhere around $154.53. So anywhere around $154, we can see that coming back down, and we are very close to that. We are at 153.83. If it doesn't come down, then I think it's going to create a new support line, but that doesn't mean that it has become bullish. For it to become bullish, we need to see higher highs and higher lows. That has not yet happened. It will take some time to engineer that. Broadcom is up 2.48% this morning, and if it continues to go up further, I would start thinking positively for Broadcom, because if I draw a diagonal line of resistance, which has got multiple touch points, I think it would be somewhere out here. Let me just pull this out a little bit. So it will be somewhere out here. And today we are exactly on top of the diagonal line of resistance pre-market. Once the market opens, if we go above this, then I think Broadcom has got a good potential of creating higher lows and higher highs and create a new bull channel. So that's quite a possibility. Palantir, again, from a valuation perspective, I think it's too expensive fundamentally also. But Palantir could bounce back as it did this morning. In pre-market trades, it's up 3.09%. So I'm thinking that if it continues to bounce back up, it could start creating higher lows and higher highs. And given the fact that in the past it has tolerated high PE multiples, there is no reason why it cannot continue going up at least until 124.28. So I'm going to be very cautious with Palantir. NVIDIA is up 4.48%, and has it started creating higher highs and higher lows? I don't know. I don't think so yet. If we were to draw a diagonal line of support with at least a couple of touch points, then I think that it has got very strong resistance somewhere around the region of 47.40. Right now it's at $44 or $45 as we speak, and it could further go up, and then when it comes to this diagonal line of resistance, it could then come back down again. It may moderate and then pick up. Fundamentally, I think NVIDIA is very strong. It's core for all the AI that we are seeing. There is no substitute for NVIDIA GPUs as such. Of course, we may also say that the DeepSeek, I think, what is it called? The Chinese AI has proved that they could do a lot more with a lot less. That remains a factor. But still, when there is really good hardware technology, hardware acceleration available, people would prefer that. So I don't see much weakness for NVIDIA. The overall weakness in the market is kind of suppressing the multiples. Otherwise, it's ready for a bounce back. So again, I would like to dollar cost average on NVIDIA. And if we go and have a look at a few other shares, I'm going to look at Rigetti. And Rigetti is up 2.63%. It's kind of consolidating a little bit, and I'm happy with that because I have heavy losses with Rigetti and SMR. So I'm not buying anymore. SMR is up 3.16%. Again, a little bit of consolidation out here. I'm happy with the consolidation because consolidations generally can form a good base and help for the growth further up. So with that said, I just like to look at JD.com, which is up again 5.19%. That's a good jump. I'm still in the red with JD.com, but the moment I get some profits, I'm just selling and I'm moving out of it, because honestly, I don't know Chinese markets, and I just bought it because a few subscribers were talking about it and I thought it was a good opportunity. So in hindsight, I realized I was being a little bit of a gambler out there, and I just took a gamble in it. So I'm going to get out of that and rectify that situation, but I want to do that without making any loss, and I see the potential for that now, to get out without making much losses. Having said that, I'm going to go and have a look at genomics. And in genomics, we have got Verve, which is down 7.32%. I think genomics should start improving if we see a bounce back. So Verve should start turning around a little bit. Of course, none of that is going to be long stayed. It may just come back down again as the overall market sentiment becomes a little bit bearish. Now we got Ginkgo Bioworks, which is up 2.63%, but it's generally bearish overall. Caribou Biosciences, no trades in pre-market session. It's kind of straddling a diagonal line of support, as you can see here. So it'll be a good idea if someone was a short-term trader to just buy some and expect that it's going to go up a little bit before coming down, and that needs extra vigilant. It's just a one-day position. Within the day you have to buy and sell. That's what you can do with CRISPR today. I think CRISPR is up 1.50%. With CRISPR also you can do the same thing like I suggested with Caribou, but these are all my ideas, not financial advice. So please do your own due diligence and take responsibility for your actions. Again, CRISPR and Illumina are the two things I feel are something that one can look at during these troubled times. Illumina is up 0.29%. It's consolidating in a range, and it's going to fluctuate between 80.22 and 89.31. That's the range within which it's going to fluctuate. So if it comes closer to 80.60, that would be a good opportunity to buy and go long. And if it comes close to somewhere around 89.40, that would be an opportunity to short it. And all this thing could be possible as long as China doesn't change its stance and remove the blacklisting of Illumina. So that's what I have to say about genomics. Let us just look at the indexes themselves, indices themselves, S&P 500. So S&P 500, let me recalibrate this chart so that we can see everything clearly. So S&P 500 is at a very critical stage. It has got a nice support out here, and it stopped just exactly at that support. It got pushed back, and it has got another support also at 5,504. So I'm thinking that it could be in for a little bit of a bounce back, and then it could get back down once it reaches somewhere around 5,587. So let us quickly take a look at what the futures are looking like. I'm just going to go to the futures and look at S&P 500. S&P 500 is at 5,577, and if S&P 5,000 is at 5,577, and if we look at actual S&P 500, it ended at 5,519. So I'm thinking that S&P 500 is going to do extremely well today, but I think later on in the day there is a very good chance that it's going to push back down again, having met a resistance. So that's the forecast there from me. And for Nasdaq also something similar. It's got, I don't think it has got any supports out here. Let me see if there's a long-term support that can help it out. I don't see any. So I think that there is no valid reasons for Nasdaq to jump back up again. And if it jumps up, that could be a kind of relief bounce, and it's most likely to be pushed back by this diagonal line of resistance, which happens to be sitting around 19,498 today. Let us hope that we have a little bit of a bounce back so that some people can get out of their difficult positions and reduce their risks. From my point of view, I just want to make sure that I sell off my Apple shorts, my Tesla shorts, and a little bit of my FNGD, so that I'm a little lighter in case that we have a runaway breakthrough and prices start going up. I don't see the possibility happening, but I just want to be a little risk averse today. So that's what I have got, my friends, and I would like to have a quick chat with you guys and see what you're thinking about. I'm a little bit low on energy today thanks to the migraine, but I can still talk. So if you have any points that you would like to make or any suggestions, I'm open for it. So I think there is nothing much out here. So I would like to wind down this session. I wish you all a happy weekend, and hopefully I'll get better very soon and I'll have something good for you. Max is saying, will GLD keep its momentum? Oh, wow, you asked a good question. I forgot to talk about GLD. Let's go and have a look at GLD. Okay, let's go into GLD. Okay, gold is here. I think gold has got a very good potential to reach the psychological 3,000. And once it reaches 3,000, then it could potentially give up some gains before moving up. So if I was to draw a line of, let me try to do various approaches. I'm going to draw a line out here. That doesn't work for what I'm trying to do. So let me take that off from there. And let me go with a line out here. Okay, so I'm thinking that we could go all the way up to 3,000. 3,000 is a psychological level, and I think once we touch 3,000, we'll be pushing back down again, and we will get a support from 29.54, and then failing which we'll get another support somewhere around 29.30. And then we'll go back up again. I think in the long run, gold is continuing to go up in the long run, in my opinion. And the reason for that, I have mentioned it before also, there is huge amount of, I would say, I'm just struggling for words here thanks to the migraine. We have our, just give me 1 second while I collect my thoughts. Yeah, it's not happening for me today, my friends. In between, I had spoken to you about US having to create some new, see, I'm struggling for words thanks to the migraine. I had spoken about a few trillions dollars of bonds that are going to expire and they have to be refinanced, right? So the refinancing of that bond is, I think, to the tune of around $7 or $9 trillion, and that has to happen in 2025. So if it has to happen in 2025, then the interest rate has to go down. So the yields have to go down, and for the yields to go down, I think the US government will have to do some funky things. And if it does all those things and brings the yields down and then issues those bonds, you can be assured that we are going to have gold prices going further up. The other aspect I would like to say is that basically when we look at the current situation of US, I think that the purchasing power has gone down. People are finding it difficult to meet their ends, and they're doing multiple jobs to stay afloat. And all of that cannot last for too long. So there's going to be a lot of unrest, and then you have all these geopolitical issues which are not resolved, the tariff issues which are not resolved. All of those things create uncertainty, and in uncertainty, people go for gold. So I'm thinking that in the long run, gold should be fine. So Max, that's the best I can do. I have been struggling with my thoughts and ideas because I have this horrible migraine, and I'm not able to see the screen properly, and I'm not able to form my thoughts properly. So I think I should just go and sleep. So I'm just going to finish off this session right now. Thanks to Hot Dog, Inf, as well as Max for joining in. I'll catch you again later on. Bye for now, friends.